Okay. Harry, you gonna start? We're live, Harry.
Are we going to start? Come on, get this
Let's
show.
go, Harry.
Get this show on the road.
Let's go,
Eric
Harry.
Carnivalev, ladies and gentlemen, in the house, and with us is the world-renowned positivity guru, Mr. Chip Baker. So, Chip, welcome to the Lead, Sell, Grow, the Human Experience Show.
Hello.
Hey, so Chip, it's nice to have you.
We're thrilled to have you. You and I had a great conversation recently. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and why positivity is so dang important to you, sir?
Well, first off, I just want to say thanks so much for having me on your show. I've been looking forward to it. Like you said, we had a great time connecting, and I knew this would be a no less than that. It's already been amazing. Just a little time we've been together. So first, just thanks so much for the opportunity. Of my background, I'm a fourth generation educator, a teacher, former coach. I'm blessed and fortunate to be raised by some great people, as well as be around some awesome folks to learn from in my career. And so I started the Success Chronicles about 5 years ago, which is my YouTube channel and podcast. And what I do is I interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. And along that journey, I've become a multiple-time best-selling author, a speaker, nice. Life coach. And so it's been a great journey and just truly grateful for it all.
Wow, that is so awesome. So yes, Chip, you're the quiet guy. And you're telling me that you're a coach, and I've got to believe there's another side of you. Is there? Is there a very fired up firecracker in there as well?
Well, like anything, I mean, perfect gentleman off the field, but once I put the helmet on, you got the ball in your hand, you're going to get
it. Oh, my goodness, Chip.
I coach football and powerlifting.
Wow. We had a football coach, wide receivers coach on, and it was funny because he was super polite, congenial, friendly, everything about him. And then we saw him on Hard Knocks.
It was Phil McGahan. He was a coach for the Chargers and played for some other teams too. Yeah.
I think he was asking people about if they really wanted to play football, they might have to work a little bit harder or something like that. I think he kind of expressed it a little bit differently, if I recall.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably just different on the field.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Success Chronicles, because is it Success or Positive? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The Success
Tell us a little
Chronicles.
bit about the birth of that and what got you going into that and where it is today.
So really, when I started, like I said, I just wanted to highlight those great people that I was blessed and fortunate to be around and share their stories, because I had great conversations with great people all the time. I just wanted to highlight them. I couldn't keep it to myself, right? But like I said, little did I know that, I would meet more amazing people, connect with great people, learn so much and grow so much. And now I am almost 300 episodes in.
Wow.
Made some great connections, interviewing people that I watch on TV or read their books or, those kind of things, Olympians. And so it's been really cool.
Is there something that stands out of all the 300 other than my interview, but other than Harry Spate's incredible, phenomenal interview?
Yeah.
Who comes in second? Or third, or
did you remember that Harry was on your show?
Come on now.
It must be in the unlisted section.
I knew this was gonna be fun. No, after Harry, we could probably go. I don't know. It's been some really cool people. I've interviewed Carl Lewis, interviewed John Gordon, Mike Evans for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Wow.
I've interviewed some really amazing people, a couple actors, radio personalities, but really that's cool and all, but really, I think we can all learn from one another. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've accomplished. I think we all have had successes in our life that we can all learn from. And that's the beauty, I think, of what I do is Carl Lewis is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
I think he was actually just texting me. I've got a message here from Carl. Says, I was probably better than Harry on the Chip Baker show.
Man. I don't know,
yeah,
Carl.
he's a little offended right now. So
I don't know. No, but no, I just think, everyone has been great for me. I think the fact that people would just take time to talk to me first, that's the cool part. But then the next thing is, I mean, I think we can all learn from one another. And I've learned so much on this journey.
So when did you become positive? Like, have you been a positive type of guy your whole life, or is there an event where you're like, you know what, this is the way I gotta go?
Man, that's a good question, Eric. Like, I've never really been asked that before. Man, I don't know. As long as I can remember, I've always tried to think of the positive side of things. I think it could be part of how I was raised. My family was church folk. That's down south we really do church.
I could tell that the two pictures you have behind you, one says God and the other one's a cross. So I could tell.
So yeah, just growing up faith-based, believing that the big man will always take care of us regardless. And so I think, along the way, when you see tough things, it hadn't always been all great either. You have to choose to not make excuses for those things, but choose to use those things as your motivation to help you grow through those and not experience those things again. And so I think when you do that, here's the athlete perspective. Reps make you better. When you start doing it and you see that, oh man, good things can come out of me thinking the right way. Oh, well, let me try it again. Oh, well, it happened again. And so you get on the roll, then, just like in the weight room, reps make you better. Like, I can't just look at the bar and say, ooh, I'm gonna be strong. No,
Harry, the weight room is in the gym.
Come on, look at these guns. Look at these guns, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, all right, stop laughing.
I was looking at myself and I said,
I was pushing my muscles up, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are not seeing the video.
I got to help him out. I got to help Harry out from time to time.
Oh, dang.
Thanks, Eric.
Is there like a faith-based leader that resonates with you?
Yeah, there's several guys I like. I like TD Jakes. I like Joel Osteen. I'm in North Houston area, so Kerry Shook is a pastor in this area. That's really good. I don't know. I think you can't go wrong with anyone that's striving to teach faith-based principles and do it in a positive way.
Man, you said TD Jakes. I got chills up and down my spine because I listen to a lot of motivational stuff while I work out. Also in the gym, Harry. That's usually where it's done, in the weight room. And TD Jakes, I mean, he's got, I don't know who does. There's like Motiversity or a couple of YouTube channels, and they'll put like this slow motivational beat to like his speech. And there's a ton of guys, like Ray Lewis will have one. Joel Osteen had some. John Maxwell, Jim Rohn, like all the greats. But TD Jakes, there's just the story, the way he tells his stories.
Oh my gosh.
Where he was a preacher. He was a preacher with holes in his shoes. He slept at the church. They made fun of him.
He had a lisp.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like a black Elmer Fudd.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, if you just look at him, it's like, who's that guy going to inspire? Especially hearing the way he described himself back in the day.
Yeah.
And then he opens his mouth. And you can't not listen. Like, you have, like, there's nothing else you're going to listen to than that.
Yes.
Oh man, there's just, so you're a motivational speaker.
Yes.
Can you, like, do you think, and Harry wants to be a speaker. I'm striving to be a speaker. Well, Harry's a good speaker. But how do you get to that level where when you speak, people get goosebumps?
I think just like leadership, just like winning, just like success, just like being positive, it starts within, right? Like, you have to look within to win. And so I truly believe that when you conquer yourself, everything else will fall in line. And so now, like me, when I speak, I can't go to a place and speak from something I haven't experienced or I don't know about. Right. And so for me, it's not genuine if you do that. It's not authentic if you do that. So when I speak like a TD Jakes, I mean, like when you hear his stories, like you just said, all of the things that happen in his life, like it resonates with you because now it helps you like, oh man, I've had some struggle in my life too, and it helps you push yourself through that. So that's kind of my thing. Like when you know what your why is, and really, I'll just tell you, like I'm more of an introverted guy, but my passion allows me to come alive.
So what's your story? Like, what's the story that you really kind of dig deep and let people feel and get to know who you are and connect with you?
Man, that's good. I think for me, just knowing that I've had hurt in my life, growing up with a single parent, in a single parent home, the struggles that come from that. Sometimes, all of us, may not feel worthy of achieving great things or be put in situations where you think, man, am I capable of doing this? Like really, you think that much of me to put me in this position to do this? Right. And then I think for me, it's been those things in my life. And so, like I said earlier, I've chosen not to harp on the bad, but I've chosen to find the good in it and the blessings and the lessons from the tough stuff. Right. And then just stack that and communicate that to people and let them know that, man, I'm telling you, like if I can do it, hey, trust me, you can too.
Yeah.
Chip, so did you grow up with a mom as a single parent or a dad? Mother? Were your parents divorced?
Right. My parents were divorced. And that's one thing I want to make sure I get clear to. Like a lot of people think single parent, deadbeat dad. No, it wasn't that. It's just, adults have differences.
Yeah.
My parents were we were just in different cities. Father was in my life, but just in different cities. But my father was not in the house. So didn't have, dad to throw the ball with or, those conversations, to have. But man, I'm super grateful that my mother placed me around people that were just great. Little league baseball coach, elementary school principal, coach, junior high school coaches, men in my church, that were just great men that I could look up to, up close to see what it's supposed to look like. And man, I just hope that, I've done all of those people proud by doing the things that I've done in my life.
Yeah, no doubt. So there's a couple of thoughts I have. One is regarding how are you passing that on? It seems like you're so grateful for what others have done. How is that? How have you returned the favor? Because I don't know that you have, but I know you have.
So Harry, I'm gonna warn you, this is the good part right here. Okay. This is the good part. Okay. So, I told you about all of those things that I've grown through in my life, right? The hurts, the pains, the things I could have used as excuses. Well, now all of those kids that I've been blessed to be around in my life, they won't feel that pain around me. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. I'm there to help them. My son will never feel that pain because I know what that feels like. My wife will never feel that pain that my mom had felt because I know what that feels like. And so it's motivated me, it's pushed me in my life to be the best version of myself, not for Chip. Not for me to say, oh, I'm a best-selling author, I've done this. No, not for that. It's for me to say, hey, I'm gonna be the best version of myself for the people that I'm blessed to be around.
No, that's killer. I just had the chills on that one. I think you're ready, man. I think your TD Jakes ready. That was it was just so genuine.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. We do. So this, this going back a little bit where you were talking about these challenges of youth. What would you say to youth today when they see? I mean, you've been around a little bit. You're not a kid. You've got, a grown son, I presume. I can tell by the gray whiskers. What would you say to youth today about the constant barrage of negativity?
Get away from it. Surround yourself with positive people. Do positive things. Think positive thoughts. I think it's that simple. I mean, it's been that simple for me in my life. Like, I share this with you. My mom used to say, "Boy," when she put the boy in front of it, as for real,
she meant
right?
business, right?
Yeah. Boy, stay on the right path. And what that meant was just surround yourself with the right people. Have a great attitude with it. Value your time. And then once you do all of those things, help others. PATH. Boy, stay on the right path.
Nice. So like Jim Rohn said, you're like the average of the five people you hang out with. I mean, Eric keeps bringing me down. I got 4 other really great friends. Eric kind of brings me down a little bit, but we're going to keep him. We're going to keep him because I'm trying to lift him up.
He meant an age. They weren't talking about age there, Harry.
Yeah, but that all comes from the good book, right?
I make him younger.
Yes, you do. You do make, again, yes, combined, I'm much younger.
Our
average age.
See how you lit up?
I love that. All right, so our average age is like 100.
Bro, you were Naples when we met. Now you're Tampa.
All right, okay. Get it. Wiseacre. So this the average. So what was I trying to say? So it's something about being on the right path that comes from the good book, right?
Sir. Yes.
Yeah. So
yes.
Like one thing that I think of is iron sharpens iron. So I've always got to be on my best game with Eric because I know he's going to find some flaw with me and I got to be at my best. But what you said earlier is like, I've lived in some pain and I know enough not to pass that along.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's significant, isn't it, in your life?
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking it can really drive you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. So it can really drive you, that pain can really push you to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so it shows you that on the other side of that uncomfort is maximum growth.
I love it. That's something that Eric is constantly driving.
Well, right, I'm curious to know what's the last. Can you hear me or am I off?
Yeah,
here?
I hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm curious to know what's the last lesson or the blessing in a lesson, or one that really stands out.
Oh, man, Eric, you are good, man. Not only are you sharp with your cracks, your wise cracks, but you got some great questions, man.
He does.
I got the cracks right here. They're just, I wrote them out beforehand because I kind of thought about where Harry's gonna go here.
Yeah.
Listen, I just let the questions come to me. I stay in tune, and they just,
I love it.
I'm downloading them.
I love it.
I was texting him the question actually.
That's right.
So for me, when I look at blessings and the lessons, I think one thing that's been on my heart lately is, for me, there has been a lot of amazing things that have been happening for me recently. I mean, like I'm in a season of blessings, right? Nice. I mean, like it's just like just blowing me away like every day. And so on my heart is this. Like I always say, it's important to grow through your go through, like grow through the things that don't just go through them, but grow through them so you find the blessings and the lessons. So now I'm really like processing that. Like, how can I have continued growth through this? And the question that I ask myself is, okay, Chip, how are you going to respond? What are you going to do when you got everything that you prayed for? You know what I'm saying? Like what are you going to do to have continued growth, to be the best version of yourself when you got everything already that you prayed for and worked hard for, right? And so I think for me, the blessing is there is no limit, right? And it's always room for growth. So now it's a continual process, like a cycle. Now I got to find some things that now I can do more to help others. So I'm gonna have to say no to some things, because in my saying no to some things, it's gonna allow me time, energy, and effort to say yes to some other things that I can be a blessing to.
Okay, I gotta dissect what you just said.
Yeah,
I gotta dissect this one.
Let's go.
Because you said, I asked myself, Chip, what are you gonna do now that everything you prayed for came to fruition?
Yeah.
Who do you expect to give you that answer? Like, who are you really asking?
The big man. That's who I talk to.
Yeah, because you can't ask yourself that, right? Like, where is that thought even going to generate from? Like, if we were to dissect your brain, there are no thoughts in your brain.
Yeah. So it's just it's the self-talk, right? So I'm like, self, what you gonna do now?
But it's not self, right? Like somewhere, there's that connection. Like when you were just talking about this is the season of blessings, all I felt was straight gratitude.
Yeah.
So it's never going to stop for you unless you stop being grateful.
Come on.
I mean, you're grateful for the stuff that hasn't even happened yet. I feel that.
So let me hit you with this one. Get rid of this. Another good one, Harry. Get ready to write this one, baby.
I'm writing.
So gratitude.
Send me a text, Harry.
Gratitude is the attitude that determines our altitude.
Yep.
And you just explained that. Gratitude is the attitude that determines our altitude. And I truly believe that if I continue to be grateful, that great things are going to happen for me.
Yeah. And I think one of the most important things as a life coach, I think one of the things that coaches know is that it's not just being grateful for the stuff that's happened to you. It's being grateful for all the stuff you want to happen.
Yes.
As if it already happened.
Yes. Yeah.
Knowing that it's already there.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
When did you come to that? We're going to win the championship. I just got to put the work in to get there. I mean, it's going to happen.
Eric, when did you come to that realization? It's so profound.
A lot of books and just in my own life when I started journaling. I mean, you know me, Harry. I got journals at the wazoo, like right here, filled with me being grateful for stuff that hasn't happened at the time, but since I wrote it, it's happened. Right.
That's amazing.
So I mean, we just have to start welcoming this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not magical, it's lawful how it works as soon as you let it in your life.
Well,
it starts with a thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when people say, I'll be happy when.
Yeah.
Right. Did you ever come across that, Chip?
Exactly.
Well,
but they get exactly what they ask for, right? I mean, look, ask and you shall receive, right?
Yeah.
So what are they asking for? They're asking to be happy when they get something. And that's exactly what they're getting. They're getting the fact that they're going to be happy when they get something.
And there's a quote I'm trying to recall, but the gist of it is like, if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy when you get where you know what you said, what you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So just be grateful for what you have now, and then you'll get there sooner for being grateful for what you have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So true.
So what are you seeing out there as a coach and as a motivational speaker right now? Are there like some challenges that you see people have in common that you're helping people overcome these days?
Yeah. Slowing things down. And I'm not going to say anything about age because I know Eric is going to take that.
Thank you.
But
thank you.
But I just say, as a kid growing up, things were simpler, more simple, right? Now with the device, a phone in your hand, you can go anywhere in the world, see anything, do anything, buy anything, right? With a device in your hand. And so now people need techniques to slow things down and process and find balance and just tips on weeding things out, like what's important, what's not important. Like you're just taking so much in, but like most of that isn't even important. Like, why are you?
But
why
how
are
does
you
that
taking
show
the lead?
up? Like, how did you pinpoint that? What was the problem people are having that you're like, hold on, you just need to slow it down a little bit?
Not able to focus on what's important, missing their
Mm,
goals. When you set a goal, for the most part, if you set action plans to get to that goal, for the most part, you should be making progress, right?
mhm.
And if you're not making progress, then you need to get rid of some things, eliminate some distractions, remove some people, put yourself around different people, right? Put the blinders on, focus in on what's important, keep the main thing, so that you can achieve that greatness that you want to achieve.
Have you ever read Maxwell Maltz, Cybernetics?
I
You heard
have
of it?
not.
So it's a book that was written, I think, in the 50s. And the
Oh
guy
wow.
is,
When I was
uh,
like 30.
yeah, yeah. The guy was a plastic surgeon. And what he
Mhm.
came to the conclusion of is that like people would come to him really kind of depressed about something physical that they didn't like about themselves. So whether it was
Right.
a nose or whatever, and he would fix it for them. And then after a very short period of time, they would go back to that same depression.
Right.
Yeah.
And what he realized is that a person can never outperform the self-image they have of themselves internally, like deeply rooted deep down inside. Right. So in my experience, what I've seen a lot, and personally myself, right, a lot of the times I'll set a goal and then I'll
Mhm.
sabotage that goal because I don't actually see myself as the type of person who could achieve that goal.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Do you see that happening?
Oh man, how much time we got? Uh,
Uh-oh.
so uh,
Bro,
so
all
let me
day.
let me share the
Did we lose him or did I
the
lose?
people
Okay.
that
Hold on
I
one second,
teach.
Chip. You just froze up. You said, let me share, and then you froze for a
Yeah.
few
So,
seconds. So
yeah.
go back to let me
Yeah.
share.
So let me share these two principles with you that I teach and I speak on as well. Uh, but I think when you're looking at success, when you're looking at motivation, positivity, I think it boils down to two things. I think it's mindset and your actions, right? Now, with your mindset, and I'm an acronym guy, um, the acronym I have for that is LPOs, right? The L is for limits. And if you limit yourself, you limit yourself, right? You have to make sure that you don't set limits on what you can achieve, right? The P is possibilities. When you do not set limits, it shows you that the possibilities are possible. Reps. Remember I talked about getting reps earlier, right? It shows you that, oh wait, I can achieve that, right? And it builds that momentum for you. All right. And then the O is opportunities. Opportunities bring opportunities. And so we get opportunities based off of us not limiting ourselves, seeing that the possibilities are possible. And then people want people on their team that do great things, right? So that's LPOs with the mindset. And I go deeper into it, but I'm just trying to just give you briefly for time.
Mm-hmm.
But I really dive deep into those, and I have some stories behind those. But then the next component is actions. You're a deep guy. I've pictured that. We have senses. Through our senses, we take things in our brain. In our brain, it relays what we think through our nervous system, right? The nerves. I teach science to the kids. Y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get some science in this motivational lesson, right? And
Harry needs science because
Oh, come
they
on.
invented science after he graduated
I'm
high
thinking of
school.
cryogenics.
Sorry. I had to get Harry
The
involved in it.
nervous system sends signals out to your body, and your body reacts to what your brain tells it. So I talked about the mindset. Now it's the actions, and the actions to achieve great things. Again, an acronym SHG, and this is the SHG principle that I live by every day. Simple, keep it simple. Show up, have a great attitude, give your all. Simple. Like show
Love
up
it.
today, have a great attitude, give me everything you got, right? And I think
Simple,
when we,
not easy, but
yeah,
simple.
not easy, yes,
Right.
not easy, but simple. And I tell you that, Eric, man, because Like, I'm not just saying, oh, I'm on a podcast interview and I throw it. No, like I live by this. So like, man, show up. If you got to be somewhere to serve, get your butt there early. You know, while you're there, you know, have a great attitude about what you're doing. You know, you may not want to do this duty today, or it's hot outside in Texas, right? Have a great attitude. You could not be here, you know, right?
Could be in New York.
Yeah, come on, right?
And for the record, Chip Baker showed up at least 5 minutes. He might have been in the room longer, but it was at least 5 minutes before the
12.
start.
And that's what I believe in that. I believe in that.
For you.
You can tell you live it, man. There's we're not.
You.
Yeah, we totally agree that you're living it, and I love the simplicity of it.
There are very
Even
few quotes
at my age can remember it.
That is good.
SHG.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Don't ask me.
Two of
Don't
those letters are in your name. I hope you don't forget those.
Yeah, they're actually
literally your last
all
and
three
first
of them are
initials. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Shut up.
What's your middle name, Gregory?
I got the G is part of my name, so it's GHT. So I'm there, man. I got everything.
Oh man,
I love it.
So there's a couple of what's it called? A couple of things people say that like really resonate and stand out. Number one, I think up until this podcast has been General Gary Cheek. We interviewed this general, probably one of first 10 podcasts we did, I think. And we were talking to him about leadership, and I asked him like, all right, so what's the kind of the number one thing to being a leader? And this is a U.S. Army general after like 25, 26 years in the military, probably even 30.
Yeah.
He looks straight in the camera. He says, don't be a stupid leader. That's number one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, that's it. That's the number one principle. And I've never forgotten that. Don't be a stupid leader. The other thing I'll never forget is when you limit yourself, you limit yourself. It was that powerful.
Thank you.
Because no one else is limiting you.
Well, let me ask you this. Who is the only person that can limit you from achieving what you want to achieve?
That asshole inside. There's somebody else that lives in there.
Yeah, me. No. Yeah, I'm the only person that can limit
It's
myself.
not me, because I want to do something, and then there's another guy in there. He's like, well, you can't
do
that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Ego.
It's the devil and the angel on each shoulder or something.
And I think that right there is life-changing. Like I spoke to some kids 2 days ago, and I said that to some kids, and I watched this young lady's face. Like it blew her away. Like she was like I know, right? Like you're the only person that can, like, what do you want to go do? Well, who's stopping you from doing it? Nobody, you know?
Right.
Like there is no limit. And like I'm the evidence and the research of that. Like guys, like I've written 6 books. Like, man, growing up, I didn't know any authors. Come on, man. Like I
6 books.
Man, the last
dude, I had no idea.
Months,
That's great.
We did a 10-city book tour on my last book.
Wow.
Like,
you're a pro,
on, man. No, I don't know. I'm still a work in progress. But
that's amazing.
Like, I'm just saying, like there is no limit. There is none.
Right. So what got you? I got to ask. What got you writing the first book?
Oh, it's crazy. Like I always, like as a coach, you know, I had written some articles. I'm a pretty like deep thinker guy. You know, sometimes I write my ideas down, and so I put some of the stuff in the past, like in like articles and magazines and stuff like that. But then through the Success Chronicles, I connected with a guy that teaches writing, and he was like, "Man, you're doing some powerful stuff. You ever thought about writing a book?" You know, and I was like, "Man, I would love to do that." And so I did a co-author book with him, and then I just kind of started the whole process. And I don't know, it's still. I'll tell somebody this today.
How long ago was that, Chip?
That's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. Before I interrupted.
No. It's hard for me still to believe it. I'm whispering because I still don't believe it. Right? Like it's hard for me to believe it. And it's only been like 3.5 years ago that I put my first book out.
And you wrote 5 since?
6. Yes, 6.
Yeah.
Total 6.
That's amazing.
How big are these books?
And smaller. But the last couple have been compilation books. So
Awesome.
like 16
What are the
authors.
books?
So the most recent is Rock Solid, and it's I'm on the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I'm a board member, and so I partner with a guy, and we put a resource together for those that teach faith-based principles to students, right? And so that's my most recent one. The one before that was The Impact of Influence, and that one people really want to go get that one because it's a compilation book of 17 powerful men from all walks of life, superintendent, preachers, businessmen, all walks of life that just tell their stories of people that have influenced or impacted them in their life, what they learned from it, and then how they're using it to make our world a better place.
Wow, that's really good. Have you heard of Life Surge?
Have not.
It's an event, and I think the next one's in Texas, but I'm not sure where. Google it, Life Surge. Tim Tebow is like their main attraction. Surge, like Power Surge, SURGE. Yeah, Harry and I went. It's all about Christian principles, and the Benham brothers were there. A guy that used to travel around with Zig Ziglar was one of the speakers. I really liked him. A few others. I mean, it was really cool.
Yeah, he was Zig's protege.
That's awesome.
Right. It was really
Chris. He's coming on the show. He's coming on the show, what, next week or the week after?
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
He's not as good as you, Chip, so don't worry. You're still number one in our book.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Carl about you, brother.
I love
funny.
it. Yeah.
So Chip, what's your
okay, you go, Eric.
Yes, I'm always curious to know, like, when when someone says they're a big thinker, and it sounds like you really think through things and take time to slow down. What do you have a daily routine that you follow, or like what's your schedule look like?
I do, and I'm glad you asked that because I'm big into routine. I'm big into schedule because I think that creates discipline, and for me, discipline allows you the freedom to be happy, right? And so, yes, there's a certain time that I wake up every morning. There's a certain thing that I do when I get up every morning. Because of work, I know exactly what time I have to be there, so I do that. And then from there, all of the things that's personal to me, that's my time that I try to do that. I front load that. I do that in the morning. So then now I have that time for the people that it's important to. Now I'm filled. I guess I look at it like a cup. My cup, fill my cup up in the morning, so now I can just go around, pour it out however I need it. And that's.
I think that's the missing piece. I think a lot of people fill their cup up, but it's not to pour it out.
Yeah. Just to fill it. I agree with you. I agree with you.
You're a river, they're a reservoir. That might be the difference. I wish I could take credit for that one. That was John Maxwell.
Oh, okay.
That was all John Maxwell.
There's some good quotes in this podcast.
Hey, Eric, I was going to tell you, man, I have one response to that quote, and that response is boom.
All right, I'm taking credit.
Yeah, it's been
John
said.
Took my quote.
Yes,
it's been said.
I heard Eric Connivalis say it once.
I was in a John Max. I'm certified by John, and I've been to conferences with him quite a few times, and he's like, look, now you guys are going to be out there teaching my stuff. You can't be quoting me 24/7. So the first time you do it, you say, John Maxwell said. The next time you do it, you say, it's been said. Yeah. The third time you say, I usually say.
Oh my God.
That's a good, that man is truly a river. And
oh my gosh,
it's so awesome. Awesome. So,
love it.
Chip, who's your target audience? Like, where do you like to speak? Are there events that you target to go to, or is it usually kids?
Yeah, I think for me it's whoever can get it. Like, I don't limit it. No, but really just those looking for inspiration and motivation, and that falls to a number of groups. That falls to organizations, corporate, that falls to leaders. And of course, I'm boots on the ground with kids, all day long on that. So,
yeah, that's very cool. what was the answer to your question, by the way? Now that all the prayers have came through, what's next?
Reflection time to find my weaknesses so that I can go stronger on those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Harry?
I was going to say that I really enjoyed this conversation. I
so
love the expressions here, the lessons and the blessings, grow through, the go through.
Yes, sir.
The gratitude is the altitude that determines our attitude. I mean, these are things that you live by. So, so is your group of people, your students, your athletes that you're coaching, are they walking around as mini chips, which sounds like a little chocolate chip, mini chip thing, but that's not what I'm referring to. Are they mini chip bakers and they're repeating you and they're walking around saying, come on, man, you got to grow through the go through?
And I think yes is the answer to that question. And I'm truly grateful for that. Like I said, I coached for 20 years. I'm at the stage now in my life where I have students now that, I'm around their kids, right?
Yeah.
Or like, my students are running businesses in the community, and so just to be around them, or like running businesses, and now I can help my kids now get jobs with those people.
Nice.
And they all trust each other because they know me, like
Yeah.
they look, and so like those things, when you can get to that stage, it just makes for a great thing. And it really makes me proud too, that I was disciplined and focused and just worked my tail off to be the best version of myself.
Yeah. Well, we
How do you
appreciate
connect with
that.
kids?
Yeah.
How do I connect with kids? I think, and I told this principal this the other day, it's really just three things that you can get a conversation with a kid and find out real quick. It's only three things: probably food, music, and shoes. Well, sports. Four things, right? But if you can hit one of those things that you can relate with a kid, and I think as long as they know that they're in a safe space around you where it's non-judgmental, like just come on in, man. Like I'm not looking at you crazy because I'm bad. I'm not perfect either.
Yeah.
Just
Love you the way you are.
Yeah, just come on in and we'll learn and grow together. And I'll learn some things from you, and hopefully you'll learn some things from me.
What about for parents, like parents who are losing that, are disconnected from their kids? You got a lot of parents working really hard, the kids on TikTok most of the day, hanging out with friends.
Yeah.
How did the parents connect?
It's two things. You have to have a healthy balance of love and accountability. Right. And I can say I had that in my life. And my mother was a real strict disciplinarian. She didn't play. Right.
You didn't have TikTok. I'm
Like
assuming, not fair, but I'm assuming.
No, I didn't. Like I said, like now you have to teach those things, like what's important. Like it's different, right? But there's some things that don't go out of style. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some core common principles: work hard, do right, treat people right. Like that don't ever go out of style, right? Technology changes, but core common principles don't change. And I think accountability and love are some of those core common principles that don't ever change. Like I'm gonna hold you accountable. Like this is what I expect from you. This is the consequences if you don't do what I expect from you. And then this is my follow through if you don't do what I expect. And I got to make sure I follow through with that, right? And then you explain to them, I'm doing this because I love you. I'm on your butt because I love you, and this is gonna make you a better person.
Harry, you got that?
Yes, I definitely applied.
I'm doing it because I love you, Harry.
Every aspect in my parenting over the last 23 years. Never once did I fail. Not once. Only about 1 million times.
Oh,
but other than those 1 million times, I was awesome.
Hey, let me tell you this quick story.
Yeah.
So I was blessed in my coaching career to have my desk beside two amazing men. One coach for 37 years, one coach for like 34 years. and this guy was like the Fellowship of Christian Athletes guy on our campus. So two great men that I could learn from.
Yeah.
And so when my wife was pregnant with our son, the one coach told me, he said, hey, we were just talking about, being a dad and all those things. He's like, hey, the good thing is that he don't know that you don't know. Right? And so
True.
as long as you just show up every day and do the best you can, like he don't know any different, right? Yeah. And so I just try to adopt that principle. Just do the best I can, and then when I mess up, hey, I blew that.
No question. That's the way to be.
I think
it's
key.
great.
Yeah.
I think kids, as they get older, they recognize how valuable their parents were.
Yes.
And now I'm getting thanks for putting up with me all those years. Yep. I wish they started saying that much younger, but it's still rewarding to hear that they think we were doing the right thing, even though when you're going through it, it's like, what the heck are we doing here? How do we deal with this one? And we had our head scratches for sure. But, it's great to have people like you that are out there encouraging others. Great to have people like Eric as well, who's coming up with these amazing questions while maintaining a great sense of humor and picking on the old guy. But where can people find you, Chip?
Are you playing victim right now?
I am. I'm just throwing it back at you. Shut up.
Yeah. All
right.
I feel zero remorse here.
Yeah, and you should. So Chip, the Success Chronicles is one place to find you on pretty much every podcast channel.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
assuming.
So all of my social media is, and I do have all of the social media, even TikTok, but no dancing, Eric.
Wow.
No dancing on there. But I do have them all.
Hipster.
And
you got to get with the kids.
I have it, but no dancing. But it's Chip Baker TSC on all my social media, except for Twitter, and Twitter is Chip Baker 19. And so I try to be on all the social media outlets because I don't want to be any excuse for you not to get this positive inspiration and motivation.
I love that.
Well, we're feeling more positive. I mean, Eric was kind of down in the dumps before this, so I know with a smile on his face that he's feeling chipper. He's feeling much more chipper. Boom!
Let's go.
There you go, Harry.
This has been fun, Chip.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Really appreciate
Thanks for being here, Chip.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for the time, and thanks for having me.
You got it, man. We'll do it again.
Have a good one, everybody.